In 1991, we see that a scientist was successful in testing his hibernation on animals, and this time he wants to do this experiment on humans for 3 years. But 2 men are ready for this test, and we see that they are taking cigarettes and alcohol with them in secret before testing them. But after years, Max and Albert wake up with a group of girls and eat breakfast, and the girls teach Albert and Max how to eat breakfast. But Albert gives Max cigarettes and wine, which suddenly causes the alarm to ring. Further on, we see that a doctor and her assistant come and tell the boys the whole story, that they were asleep for 53 years and are the only men who survived. But Max and Albert can't believe it, and they want to run away, but they can't. But Max and Albert think it's part of the experiment and wonder how the women were able to reproduce without the men. But Lemieux hears all the word of Max and Albert and explains the whole story and the way to continue the generation, and Max and Albert cannot believe it. But at night, Max and Albert shed tears remembering their past days. But Max is thinking of having fun when Lemieux enters the laboratory, and Max slowly approaches Lemieux and kisses Lemieux. But Lemieux defends herself, and no matter what she does, she can't forget Max's kiss. But Max and Albert are taken to another room where they are met by the leader of the women, and together we realize that this woman caused the destruction of men and made the aim bomb so that she could stop the war. But suddenly she realizes that the tree had only 2 apples, and now there are no apples, and she understands that this is the work of men, and men aim poisons again. But the next day, Lemieux is going to meet an old woman who remembers the past, and she asks about men, and the old woman explains everything. But when she finds out that Max and Albert are going to be turned into females in an experiment, she opposes this. But the next day, we see together that Lemieux is going to get signatures from the boys for this experiment. But the men do not accept that. At the same time, a meeting is held between 2 groups of women. One group wants to experiment on men and kill them, but the other group wants to turn men into women. In the meantime, Max and Albert run away, and by kissing the woman, all the women lose consciousness, and Max and Albert run to an underground. But the guards come after Max and Albert, and Max and Albert run away again. They suddenly notice a group of people having fun and hiding from the government. They are suddenly arrested by the same people. The guards suddenly come, and Max and Albert run away. But Lemieux finds Max and Albert and shows Max and Albert outside that the whole place is uninhabitable and they will die if they go outside. But Max and Albert realize they are underground and accept the outside world. But Lemieux delivers Max and Albert and takes the Medal of the Bravery, but she is not satisfied with her work and finally saves Max and Albert again. In the meantime, they put on the special clothes of the gods and want to go to the ground, but the god says that he needs a password and only the leader of women knows what the password is. But at the same time, Max curses out of anger when suddenly the gate opens and everyone realized that the curse was the password. But after going to the surface of the earth, they realized that it was all a lie and a wall to prevent them from seeing the real world. Meanwhile, everyone runs out of oxygen and Max is happy to see a bird. And they all take out their special clothes and find a beautiful house and they eat together. But at the same time, another girl also follows Max and Albert, but due to lack of oxygen, she passes out. But when she regains consciousness, she tries to run away. But suddenly the TV is turned on and a TV show is playing which shows that all the people who escaped are dead and Max and Albert have also made artificial one. But in the meantime, the leader of the woman enters this house and is surprised when she sees Max. But Max and Albert stop her and realize that the leader of women was a man and was wearing women's clothes, and he was the reason for all the problems. And the leader of the woman is forced to tell Albert and Max the whole story. But Albert and Max promise not to reveal the identity of the leader of the woman. And one day, Max and Albert secretly go back underground together, and in the laboratory, they put their own sperm on the experiments so that they can change the human race. And after a long time, we see that a baby boy is born and the nurse screams upon seeing this scene.